every moment. But so as I was saying before, first of all, welcome lads. Great to have you here today. So as we were saying before, the main emphasis of today is like, yes, there'll be myself going through a lot of the frameworks and things like that, but it's very interactive. So main thing is yes, taking notes if you can. So that is known to increase the percentage of you retaining the information. But the highest marker for retaining is interaction. Right, so this is a real group and team effort. Right, and as we said there, it's one thing for me, yes, to go, I can sit here and go, okay, let's go through this, this and that. And the main thing we were touching base on before, Connor, is that we'll if we were to kind of break Brotherhood down into sort of 3 parts, you've got the beginner phase, which is, let's just say, the amateur. All right, you've got the pro, and then the third phase is then mission. Right, so in the beginning, it's like we're at these different phases at different points, let's say in our, in a mission, in our relationship, in our health as well. Right, so in the beginner phase, the key thing with the amateur is we want to focus on the basics. Right, what are the basics of, let's say we're playing football. Right, so first touch, right, passing the ball. When you're running, right, how do you read your fucking heart rate? So you're not just spiking up, right? Or when the leader is doing his drone, you don't stop, you keep running, right? So the basics for them to understand, okay, what does that mean for me, right? And that's different in different areas, as we said. So today it's going to be getting clear on, okay, what is that area for me right now? Okay, what is my bridge to the pro? What does the pro look like for me? Right, and then from there, as I gain clarity on that, what's the vehicle of my mission? Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, awesome. So, yeah, I almost feel like we should bring in a few of the little handy sort of tools that we use on the Brotherhood retreat. All right, so there's a few little sort of culture things that we utilize on the retreat to give you a little insight. So there's 3 after someone's finished speaking. What do? We go 3, 2, 1, right? And it just creates a unison. So we'll try it again, 3, 2, 1. Okay, awesome. So it starts to forge a brotherhood. So if we generally look at 2 in Brotherhood, there's 4 key parts. There's forging the Brotherhood, and you can see the smiles on our faces. Like, yeah, we're back. It feels like that, doesn't it? So the forging the Brotherhood, moving from head to heart. All right, because this is, so head is decision, heart is direction. All right, so you tap into this, so it offers direction, and then this makes the decision. Okay, and then that's the biggest journey for most men, so dropping into here, so more into feeling, trusting myself. Then from there, there's usually initiation, so initiation into a new insight, new breakthrough, new perspective. And then from there, it's like, okay, integration into new life and new self. So it's what I do with these things. So it's all well and good. I come to these weekends, whatever it is, this one-day event, and I gain new insights, right? But then it's, what do I do with it? All right, which is the main thing. It means nothing if I don't implement it. It's the same with, let's say, you guys know my journeys with plant medicines. You go and drink ayahuasca, or you have these peak experiences where this lesson is like right in front of your face, like you can't not see it. But then I've had moments where, like, oh, okay, sweet, it must be all settled in. I didn't take action on it, and then I came back, and the medicine's like, yuck! Like, you've got to implement it. Because if you don't implement it in that moment, it actually, life gets harder. Right, it does. It gets harder, and it forces the lesson in front of your face. I know recently, if you'd care to share, Connor, the example of your business idea.
Oh, don't stare at me. I want to read it. Yeah. So I'd met Darren, was it the Friday or Thursday, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I've been sitting on this thing for quite a while, and I really need to get my ass into gear, because giving them the reasons or whatever, and I was like, ideas are only yours for so long until you can bring them to fruition or whatever. And I was like, oh, I'll go mad if someone pops up and does this after I've been sitting on it for so long. So I was like, I need to keep chipping away. And I was at a couple of cardio on the Wednesday evening, following Wednesday evening, and I had the BMW with me. I was bringing that to the NCT the following morning, and I was getting rid of that, so I was NCTing it so I could sell it. So just after the run, flat tire, and I was like, oh, I don't believe it. So flat tire, I got fixed about 11, but as the flat tire situation was happening, I set up a new page for running, so like a personal page where I can share runs and stuff, so I'm not bombarding my personal followers. And I get a notification from a follow request, and I clicked onto the page, and I was just like, oh, I don't fucking well, I won't say the exact same idea, but too similar for, like, it's literally the same idea. And I was like, this fella, he's launching soon, and I was like, I don't believe it. Voice time, I was like, man,
you can't make it up.
Considerations. I was, do I make a few Instagram accounts and just or when he goes live with his website, send a load of traffic and crash it? But that's when Darren's words of reasoning came to me, and he was like, just think of it as a worthy opponent. You know, now all of a sudden I've gone from waiting to get the bank account set up to I basically ordered stock and I'm waiting for them to arrive.
Yeah, fucking awesome.
It was probably the kick in the ass that the universe was thinking, you know, you're not working hard enough. Here's a reason to work harder.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so true. I mean, it's a perfect scenario, because sometimes we need that moment, as much as it's a bit like, oh, for fuck's sake, you know, you do. And if you can utilize those moments, so let's say, for example, I think I made a video this week where it's the same thing. It's like a breakup, right, or something, and that can either be it's like that make or break you moment. Those moments, but eventually we don't want to wait for those moments to come, right, and in order to change. But that's the reality. Is like, you can run from destiny as much as you want. It's like, you'll hear me say these things of dragons or boss battles, and they can sound all, you know, ethereal, but then when it happens, you know what it is.
You can feel it. And
yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, now I know.
That's it, and it makes sense. It's like, we don't want to wait for the dragons to come. It's like, why not train for them and go head first into them now, right? Because, and then that's great. It's like, I'm sure even for yourself at the moment, Connor, like, you're feeling that internal integrity come online, because that's not something that's pushed in the back burner, that's been there for a year. It's like, as you're going along, it's scratching behind you, and you can feel it gnawing away, and it's like, fuck, I got to do that thing, and it's there. But, you know, I hope by just pushing it away, it's going to make it soothe, or it will just go away eventually. But it's like, no matter where you run, there you are. You know?
It's like, for me, in 2022, I was going to start a podcast.
Just going to get a drink.
And I didn't. And as I said at the start, I was in the middle of my transformation back then. I had so much to say, so much energy about it. And now I have the means to create a podcast, but I don't have what I had back then, which is so strange, you know. So it's about coming back around to that now as well. I definitely missed out on an opportunity. It was the prime time for me. And especially because the last 3 years I'm looking at people with their podcasts and listening to them going, oh yeah. And I'm like, oh, I don't need to do a podcast, everyone else is already.
Yeah.
But I do realise the value of having my touch on things as well, like, you know, and then supporting our own local area. I don't want to be a worldwide breathwork facilitator. I just want to cover the northeast of Ireland. That can keep me taking over, you know. So from that, I think things are going to happen, and I'll go back to it, you know. Man,
so good. And it's like, there's actually a podcast studio right here.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I know, yeah.
Well, that's it. But as well, I know it's a long way. But even then, it's like, okay, what resources do I have now?
Yes.
Like, all I need to actually do is, sometimes we think I need this sort of whole gear set up and everything. But realistically, like, all I need is a mic, you know, like one of these mics, and even like, you know, your phone or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, sure. Even like, so a couple of weeks ago I made my first video for YouTube, and I put it onto my laptop where I edit my videos, and that was it.
Yeah.
I did record the voiceover for it and stuff as well, and I just feel it's not even excuses, it's just having to do that little bit of work and step into that on your own. I can sit down and fuck around the piano and make music, doodle for hours, but I can't commit 15 minutes to record that, you know?
Man, and this is so good. Let's go here, because this shit is fucking awesome, isn't it? I get so psyched on this stuff. I feel like Tony Stark and we're coming up with like... So what the fuck is that, right? So we can put a name to it. Steven Pressfield would call it resistance, right? Yeah. Now, no matter how many dragons you slay, there's never going to be a point where there isn't resistance, right? So often we think it's like, oh, I remember I had this perception and it came through on an ayahuasca journey. So I was saying to myself, I was like, oh, when my business is finally where I want it to be, or like I finally have a relationship or whatever it is, then I can, I finally rest in peace, right? Rest in the present. But then I realized it's like, there's never going to be a point where there isn't something, right? There's never going to be a point where there isn't, even then if your business is prospering, it's like there's something in my relationship, right? Or it's like then there's something, my relationship is prospering, then my fucking business, or my health or something. So it's more so, how can I find peace with knowing that there's always going to be something, right? But then also sometimes it's like the very thing we know that's going to get us to the next level, it's like we somehow find a way to fucking sabotage it. So like, what is that, right? Well, Steven Pressfield would call it that there's like constantly two counteracting forces, right? So we've got this. So we've got, he calls it our daemon, right? And then the other force is resistance. Right, so then if we look at, so what is our daemon? Well, in Brotherhood, we'd call it our Excalibur, right? Which is our soul's potential. So that's that voice that says like, yes, I can, I'm destined for something great. Right, I want to leave a mark on this world. I want to create a great product. I want to create a great brand. I'm walking around and everyone's fucking drinking their coffee and just like robots. And you're like, fuck, there's got to be more to life than this, right? But then there's the other voice that goes, who's going to hear what I have to say? Yeah. Who's going to read what I have to write? Who's going to buy my products? How is it? Maybe someone's already done it, or someone's going to do it better, or it's going to fail, right? So that's the nature of the universe. For one force to exist, there must equally be another force because it assists us to grow, right? But once we know that that's there, we can start to work with it rather than against it. It's like internally we talked about the worthy opponent, but it's like when that voice comes up in me, it goes, the worthy opponent. Yes, I can, rather than cannot, right? But the thing with yes, I can is I need clarity, because then that breeds certainty. Because if I don't have clarity, it breeds uncertainty, which breeds fear. And then that's no action. Does that make sense? Yeah, so that I'm providing the perfect environment for this to show up more. Right? So then, how do I bring through clarity? Well, obviously, frameworks. By a team. And then I also bring through certainty by action. So having proof. Does that make sense? Right, so there's like a belief cycle that goes this way. Oh, I'm trying to fucking think, how does it go again? So you've got a belief. You've got potential. And you've got results. Okay, so breeds this way. So first of all, you start with belief. All right. So in the beginning, sometimes you have to borrow someone else's belief. All right. Then the belief you at least then have potential. You have some potential then. All right. So then if you take action, it will breed results which will reinforce the belief. Now, it can also go the other way, right? And let's say, for example, you don't take action. That's fucking orange, but I'll have to do. There we go, nice. So belief, I have a belief I have no potential, therefore I don't take action, which doesn't bring any results, which then reinforces the belief. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So then that's why too, if I stall, I'm constantly reinforcing the belief, which is a bigger pit that I can't get out of. Does that make sense? So awesome. So therefore it's like, okay, sometimes I have to maneuver out and I have to start to rebuild again because I become aware. So then that's why I talk a lot about the importance of accountability. Because if you say, for example, if you don't take action on anything, you have to run a half marathon, which I did the other day, right? So you're going to take action on it. You don't really want to run a half marathon, right? So then, but the value of that is then you're actually starting to take action. So then results starts to come through. So then you are reinforcing a new belief, because there's no greater driver than pain. That's the reality. It's like there's no greater driver than pain for all of us. It's like when you've seen that dude popped up the thing, it was like, for fuck's sake. And it's just like, then you kind of shifted into gear. But again, we don't want to wait for that. Because that's the thing, that's the essence of this. We don't want to wait for those dragons, because if we build that habit, it's like we don't want our whole life to be falling apart and a ship collapsing until we realize, oh shit, I shouldn't have turned right. you know what I mean?
The other right.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 10 hours later. Yeah. So, okay, cool. I feel like we're moving along. Any questions here as this stuff's coming up? Any sort of pings, insights?
Oh, good. Just like even literally at the very start of you doing that, you were like, what is that thing that stops us? And I was like, what is it? Explain. And then resistance. Like, oh, that's the fucking thing.
Yeah, that's it. That little bastard. Yeah, that's it.
And like, one of the biggest lessons I've learned from that is that resistance is not a personal attack on anyone. Resistance is a force of nature that gets us, you know?
That's it.
And it's elusive because I keep fucking forgetting it.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Yeah. But at least when we can catch it. And that's the importance of, again, it's like when you have like-minded community, it's like, man, that's resistance.
Yeah.
You know, you are bigger than that motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, I spent years in the airport thinking, oh sure, I can't leave here, you know, I'm not too good at money and all that sort of stuff. And then you're like that, you have no belief, so you're not doing anything about it, you're not taking action to try and get out.
Correct.
And then literally you're getting
and it reinforces.
And it's constantly going on, as opposed to finally going, no, enough's enough, I'm breaking out of this thing. And
that's it.
Like that, you have belief, you get out, you get a new job, you're like, oh look, life is better outside of here.
Correct.
And like that, your mood changes instantly.
That's it.
Like that, you're unstoppable, as you always say.
Correct.
You know?
Man, it's so true. And like, the reality is most dudes reach brotherhood when they've hit that sort of explosive moment. Because it happened for me, where life grabs you and goes like, fucking wake up. You know, and thank God it does. In the moment, it's horrendous. But afterwards, you're like, fuck, thank you. Because I'm actually living the life that I want. Correct. You know, so, and then that's where, okay, cool, playing a game. Your avatar, that's it. What sort of avatar are you? And then how can we align you to that vehicle that
and
works
you know,
for you?
like when we're playing a computer game and we're designing our character, and we put so much thought into it, and we're patient with ourselves, and we spend a couple of days on it maybe, and then we get started. Whereas in life, it's like, wake up, brush your teeth, take a shit, get the fuck out and go.
Yeah, that's it.
That's where we don't really have much time for character development in the morning.
Yeah.
Where we need to put the costume back on.
Yes.
You know?
That's it. And there's a great phrase called your sadhana, which is, I think, like a Hindu phrase. So your sadhana is like it's your spiritual practice, right? But for me, it's so much more than spiritual practice. For me, the gym is my sadhana, right? It really means your foundational practice. Like, what is that practice that brings you back to you? Right? Like, it can be yours, I know, is the gym too, probably, and also your meditation, right? For you, it's running. Probably same for yourself, kind of running on the gym. Or it can be different things, like the breath, all right? I know the gym is a big one for me too. And then that's where it's like, okay, I'm checking in with myself. And immediately too, it's if we do a high rocks session in the morning, it's like you've slayed a dragon. So there's nothing harder for the rest of the day. You know, and you remind yourself who the fuck you are, which is so crucial. But there's different ways of doing that as well.